Coming up, an update on an Iowa City shooting.
Drag shows light up Iowa City nightlife.
Iowa softball shuts out the Cyclones.
Prepare for upcoming showers, all of your full forecast in weather.
Good morning from Iowa City. It is Wednesday, April 30th. I'm Grace Lathrop.
And I'm Hannah Lipsky.
And Hannah, it has been pretty nice outside these past couple of days.
Yeah, I mean, walking in the studio was pretty beautiful, but what was with this big storm we were supposed to have on Monday? I
don't know. We never got it, but let's send it over to Avery Evans, who has the full update on weather.
Thanks, guys. It looks like we'll need to bring back those umbrellas out for these next couple days. For the rest of the day, we'll see off and on rain showers in the afternoon with a high reaching the low 60s. The rain will continue throughout the evening with temperatures dropping down to the 50s. Tomorrow will be cloudy with highs in the 60s and occasional rain showers for most of the day. I'll be back with the rest of the week's forecast, but for now, I'll send it back to you guys.
And for our top story, a man pled not guilty after being charged with first-degree murder. Ontavious Watson is being charged for the murder of Elijah Williams. Watson shot him on Gilbert Street just over a month ago on March 29th. Watson is currently being held at a $1 million bond, and with his plea, he is slated for a summer trial of July 8th. If convicted, he faces life in prison without the possibility of parole.
And several Iowa City businesses failed alcohol sales law compliance checks. Underage people working with Iowa City Police entered 30 businesses in attempts to purchase alcoholic beverages last Wednesday. Now, during sting operations, the underage individual cannot lie and has to provide real identification when asked. 7 businesses sold to underage individuals. Employees were charged with providing alcohol to a person under the legal age and received a $645 fine. Violations are reported to the Iowa Alcoholic Beverages Division and could face penalties against their liquor license. And the owner of a booming business faces legal charges. Christopher Whalen, owner of Hyper Energy Bar, is charged with domestic abuse, display of a weapon, and 2 counts of child endangerment. Whalen became violent and threatened his wife after a verbal argument last weekend. Investigators claim Whalen was intoxicated when he allegedly shot a gun inside his home where 2 kids were sleeping. Hyper expanded to Iowa City last winter and has several new locations planned.
And bills affecting education are making their way through the Iowa legislature.
And they're a bit confusing, so that's why we have DITV's Linda Laku in the newsroom with what could be next for Iowa schools.
That's right, guys. A fetal development education in Iowa schools is headed to the governor. This bill required to show ultrasound videos that illustrate the humanity of an unborn child by early human development, starting at the womb. The House previously updated the bill to ban the display of fetal development materials in schools if it promotes abortion or if it engages with or refers to organizations that do. Materials from the University of Iowa hospitals and clinics and the Mayo Clinic may be protected from this clause because they perform or refer patients from abortions that are medically required. With a vote of 166, the bill passed the Iowa legislature and is now pending for the Governor Reynolds' signature to become law. A measure mandating that all public and private K through 12 schools is ensuring that their staff is yearly seizure response training is passed by the Iowa legislature. All teachers, administrators, and support staff are required to take an online course to provide employees the skills they need to identify seizures and react properly. The law aims to protect the safety and well-being of students with epilepsy or seizure disorders. Schools are anticipated to start the training in the next school year according to the Iowa Department of Education recommendations. Some of Governor Kim Reynolds' Iowa Board of Regents appointees have been confirmed. The Iowa Senate has confirmed 4 of the 5 appointees to the governing boards of the 3 public universities. Republicans David Barker and James Reiswink and the independents Kurt T. Jaden and Lucy Gipple were approved. Baker and Ryswick has 36 to 16 votes, and T. Jaden has 48 to 2. Candidates need a 2/3 Senate vote to be confirmed. That's all I have for you guys for now. I'll send it back to you ladies in the studio.
Thanks, Linda. And the admissions office at Iowa employ nearly 100 student tour guides to show off the university. DITV's Cole Krieger has the story on how student tour guides play a vital role in recruiting future Hawkeyes.
For most Hawkeyes, their journey begins here at the Pomerantz Center in the admissions office, where university student tour guides wait for their arrival. Tours are given every week, with the admissions team interacting with thousands of new faces every year.
I think at least last time I looked at the numbers, we definitely interact with over 10,000 students throughout a given year.
The tour guides work within the admissions office. Every year, they look to hire current university students to help promote the university.
Well, they send out like a mass email saying that they're interviewing and taking tour guides, and then the next step would be you just apply, and then there's a whole interview process that goes.
Student tour guides give multiple tours a week spanning across the entire year, with the goal of showing the kids around campus and why they decided to enroll as Hawkeyes.
I just really hope that Iowa's somewhere that they can see themselves, and that any questions that I do answer, I'm answering and kind of showing the best parts of Iowa and why I love it so much.
When giving the tours, the tour guides have only one goal in mind: make sure every student feels at home. One way to do so is to separate and coordinate the groups by interest.
Like if we have a tour guide that's a nursing major, every single nursing interest student that I have will go with that group, just so you can ask them those more specific questions and kind of get that first-hand experience from somebody who is doing your major that you're interested in.
Now it all starts with the student tour guides to make sure that these students behind me become future Hawkeyes. From the University of Iowa, Cole Krieger, DITV.
And the University of Iowa Faculty Senate elected new leadership at their final meeting last night. Vice President Craig Just, a professor in engineering, was elected as the new Faculty Senate Vice President. The election follows Vice President Radhika Kurtu's appointment as Senate President for the 2025-2026 year. Naomi Gracer, an associate professor of American Studies and Gender Studies, was elected as Secretary. The elected officials will serve in the Faculty Senate in the 2025-26 year. From bold looks to fierce performances, drag performers are lighting up the Iowa City nightlife.
That's right, Grace, and this is why we have DITV's Liz Schultz, who is live outside of Studio 13, where drag queens take on the stage and draw an audience after dark.
Thanks, ladies. While the campus bar scene is full of energy, it's Iowa City's drag scene at Studio 13 that really shines. Every weekend, large and diverse crowds are drawn in to enjoy these diverse and captivating performances.
For the performers, drag is more than just a show. It's an art, a chance to express themselves and connect with their fans. From high-energy lip-syncing to anthems, the Queens at Studio 13 give us a closer look on redefining entertainment.
The ins and outs of drag, which is like the hardest part, because this is like a complete, it's like there's so much that's inside of this, it's crazy. People just see it and they're like, oh, but it's like, girl, you don't know how much I gotta do for this.
It takes years to master the art of drag. Their shows are a way for anyone to be themselves during a night out. Students say they enjoy the shows because they give them a sense of community, especially during a time of concern about human rights.
It's our community, it's who we are, we're not going away. There's nothing like any politician can say or do law-wise that would take away someone's transness or queerness. You know, sexuality and gender are very complex.
Studio 13 is home to a variety of drag-centered events, including open stage nights welcoming anyone. Even with the ups and downs of the competition, the drag community at Studio 13 stays strong.
Whether it's the energy raving through the crowd or the bright lights shining on stage, these drag performances allow the drag queens to share their powerful messages. Back to you in the studio.
And coming up later, updates on the Diamond Sports, including breaking news about Iowa softball's head coach, along with where tennis stands in the NCAA tournament. Stay tuned.
Thanks, Elise. Now, I'm just wondering if we're going to have some summer weather coming up at the end of the semester. What about you, Grace?
Yeah, me too. We're almost there, and it is getting a little bit nicer outside. But Avery, what else can you tell us about the weather coming up?
Yeah, you guys, it looks like the rain looks to clear the area as we head into this weekend's forecast. Friday looks to be our last day of showers for the week with temps in the high 60s and cloudy skies in the evening. Heading into the weekend, Saturday will bring plenty of sunshine as well as a few clouds. Sunday's temperatures will finally reach the 70s and drop down to the low 50s in the evening. On Monday, we'll continue with a good amount of sun throughout the day with the trend of the low 70s continuing. Tuesday shows to be partly cloudy, but looks to be the warmest day of the week with temps in the high 70s. Now, these increasing temperatures make me so excited to spend plenty of time in the sun this weekend without having to worry about rain. I'll send it back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Avery. And Hannah, I know we had some disappointing outcomes on the baseball field yesterday.
Yeah, I know they were trying to keep up their winning streak, and I'm just more concerned with if they're still on the top of the leaderboard for the Big Ten, Elise.
Yeah, Hannah, they are still in first place in the Big Ten. However, it was a tough loss last night to the Illinois State Redbirds for the second time this season. Illinois State took full advantage of a 6-run fourth inning. 4 of those runs going against freshman pitcher Tyler Guerin. That was all the Redbirds could scratch across as they were held scoreless the rest of the game. Iowa would fight back with 4 runs in the 8th inning, including a 2-run home run from Kellen Strohmeyer to cut the deficit to just 1 run, but it would not be enough as Iowa lost 6-5 in their final midweek home matchup of the season. They'll be looking to regroup before heading out to Seattle to face the conference's 5th-seeded Washington Huskies for a 3-game series over the weekend. And the Iowa softball team got their revenge against their rival Iowa State yesterday, shutting out the Cyclones 5-0. Jalen Adams continued her hot streak in the circle, pitching her 18th complete game of the season with 7 Cyclone strikeouts. With 23 wins, Adams has now secured the most wins for a Hawkeye pitcher since 2009. Later on in the game, sophomore Jaylee Ojo went yard for the first time in her career with a grand slam, ringing in 4 of the 5 Hawkeyes runs. This was Iowa's first win over the Cyclones since 2017. Then Iowa will take on their other state foe, Northern Iowa, later tonight in another non-conference matchup. Iowa looks to stay in the win column as they currently sit at 6 in the Big Ten standings as the playoffs near closer. And speaking of Iowa, some breaking news for the softball team. Head coach Renee Gillespie will not be returning next season after coaching the Hawkeyes for 6 seasons straight. Gillespie took a step back last December due to personal medical complications, leaving the team to rotate through 2 other coaches in the process. While the team is currently being ran by Carl Golan, a national search for a head coach will begin immediately. Monday, during the NCAA selection show, the Iowa tennis team earned an at-large bid into the NCAA tournament. This is the first time since 2010 that the Hawks qualified for the tournament. The Hawkeyes will travel to Athens, Georgia as the 3 seed in a 4-team pool, which includes Georgia, Georgia Tech, and Florida A&M. Iowa will take on the 2nd-seeded Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets in round 1 starting Friday at 9 a.m. The match will take place at Dan McGill Tennis Complex. If the Hawks win one on Friday, they will face the winner of Georgia and Florida A&M on Saturday at noon. The Big Ten Conference announced the men's basketball matchups for the 2025-2026 seasons. As Iowa enters the season under the new head coach Ben McCollum, they are looking at a 20-game conference lineup. Hawks are facing 14 teams, 7 away and 7 home, while notably 3 of the teams in the conference, Maryland, Nebraska, and Purdue, they are set to face off twice. The Iowa track and field team is honoring 19 seniors as they host the Musco Twilight in Coralville this weekend. The program aims to make steady strides across the board in events like men's and women's discus and the high jump. The Hawks will look to capitalize on their celebratory weekend with a win at the Francis X. Kretzmeyer track beginning Friday. Iowa football gained a new member to the roster from the transfer portal. Defensive back Ty Hudkins joins the Hawkeyes as a transfer from Purdue with 3 years of eligibility remaining. Hudkins is a Grand Rapids, Michigan native who appeared in each of the Boilermakers' 12 games this past season, though he recorded only 1 tackle back in Game 1 against Indiana State. However, he came out of high school as a 3-star prospect ranked as the number 91 safety in the country by ESPN. He is Iowa's 4th spring transfer this season.
Thank you so much for that, Elise. And thank you for joining us online or listening to KRUI 89.7 FM.
We are here live from Iowa City every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8:30 and online anytime at thedailyiowan.com.
For everyone here at DITV, thank you for watching.
See you again on Friday morning, right here on DITV.
Stay tuned for DITV's political segment, The Update, following after the break.
Stories occur every day, and here at DITV, we've got you covered with up-to-date news and politics.
Former President Donald Trump won the Iowa caucus.
And we are anxiously waiting for those votes for not only the national election, but here in District 1.
Keeping highlights and scores with Hawkeye Sports.
The All-American walk-on brought that punt return down this sideline and into this end zone.
Iowa looks to boost their overall placement and their way into the semis.
And of course, all the latest in entertainment.
Sit back, relax, and here's the word on the street.
I'm here at the Alan McVeigh Theater where a unique performance.
Here at DITV, we've got a crew bringing you all the stories from across the nation and right here in your backyard.
From Washington, D.C., Nashville, Tennessee.
From downtown Iowa City.
From Carver Hawkeye Arena.
And bringing all the coverage straight to you live on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings. Around the University of Iowa and Iowa City community, we have the stories that matter to you here at DITV.
Election results are in.
The Doge Task Force cuts back funds on the long-running program.
Senators disagree on President Trump's first 100 days in office.
From the White House, covering the actions of the administration and how they are running our country. From the nation's capital, where Iowa lawmakers' work impacts the nation. From Iowa, where politicians determine what direction to take Iowa in. DITV's The Update is keeping you up to date with all the latest nationwide and statewide news and politics.
And welcome to The Update, your home for national news.
From the White House, our nation's capital, and all over the country, we're keeping you up to date. I'm Ryan Lynch.
And I'm Isabel Thier. And we're going to start things off right away with the government. Ryan?
Yeah, there's been and a pivotal election took place in Canada to decide who controls their parliament. The Liberal Party retains power in the House of Commons, which is the lower portion of Canada's parliament. And this means the current Prime Minister, Mark Carney, retains power in the country as his party bested out the Conservatives. As of last night, the Liberals were projected to win 169 seats out of the 343 in the Parliament, falling short of the 172 needed to win over the majority. Conservative Party leader Pierre Poilievre lost his own seat in the Parliament in a devastating blow to the Conservative Party. This is a major turnaround as the Conservatives were ahead in previous polls by double digits. And Prime Minister Carney took the win as an opportunity to call out President Donald Trump during his speech. U.S. government's new policies for terminating student visas has been revealed. In light of lawsuits filed by students who have lost their visas, court filing has shown that the Department of Homeland Security ran names of student visa holders through the National Crime Information Center. The database includes names of suspects, missing person, and people who have been arrested, regardless of if the charges were dropped or not. And the spreadsheet with this information was forwarded to a Homeland Security official who said within 24 hours of viewing the list to terminate all the names found in the database who are also listed in another database as foreigners who have legal status as students in the United States. U.S. District Court Judge Ana Reyes says that the short time frame suggests that no one reviewed the records individually to establish if a charge was dropped or not. Government attorneys say that the changes in legal status in the database was meant to be a red flag to further investigate.
And we're going to spend a big monumental moment for the president as he just reached his first 100 days of office. To celebrate this, he went to a rally in Michigan. The first 100 days of the presidential term are considered most important and impactful as it gives us a look on what the president's going to do. He has made many changes to the economy, including large tariffs. He considers these tariffs to be a great thing for the United States, but Democrats continue to challenge his stance.
72% of Americans think it's likely that Trump's handling of the economy will walk us directly into a recession.
Trump has implemented the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, to cut back on unnecessary government expenses. Immigration's been another topic on the president's radar as he instated some of the most extreme immigration acts since 1798. Trump also danced around other nations and policies to form new alliances with foreign governments. He'd been making lots of progress, achieving many goals.
I think it has been a very historic 100 days, and in my view, you could be described as promises made and promises kept. And if you look right across the board, all the things the president campaigned on, said he was going to do, he is following through on those. And chief among them.
Decades-old AmeriCorps is being targeted as the DOGE task force is reevaluating. AmeriCorps is a government efficiency agency that partners with Americans in need. Since DOGE cut off $400 million from them, AmeriCorps is unable to keep people employed because they do not have the funds. They're also concerned that these cuts will dig into after-school programs and other community-based events. In return, AmeriCorps is lashing out and standing up for themselves.
A coalition of 22 attorneys general and states are today filing a lawsuit against the president, challenging his attempt to dismantle this great American agency.
Nearly half the U.S. states have now sued Trump administration in the claims that the President Trump has illegally gutted the program. Since this program is currently being defunded, AmeriCorps has to put 85% of the staff on temporary leave, and many of them were let go altogether.
Yep. And Senate Democrats banded together with some shared opinions. The senators are not happy with Donald Trump's first 100 days in office, and they held a series of speeches in the Senate to express their disapproval with the president's actions. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer expressed that his party will continue to fight Trump on these issues.
Tomorrow we have legislation on the floor on tariffs, and if we get 4 Republicans to vote for us, we can undo those tariffs. How we're opposing them every step of the way.
While Democrats are against President Trump's actions, Republicans are continuing their support for the president. Republican leadership in the Senate showed their approval of the president's actions in his first 100 days.
His policy decisions are the right ones, and I think over time that will bear fruit. You will see the results of that, and he will, like he did in his first term, do some things for the economy that created economic conditions we hadn't seen in decades.
Senate Majority Leader John Thune praised President Trump's policies as he believes it will benefit the country in time. And Republicans of the House of Representatives show their support for the president with a change to the chamber's rulebook. House Republicans made a rule change to protect their party's interests, and the change limits information on some administration activities when a request is filed in the House of Representatives. Speaker of the House Mike Johnson defended the actions as a way to prevent political stunts.
We're using the rules of the House to prevent political hijinks and political stunts, and that's what the Democrats have. As I mentioned, no leader, no vision, no platform. All they have is obstruction.
These changes come as House Democrats wanted information about the Trump administration using messaging app Signal after information leaks. Other information requested was in reference to conflicts of interest with Elon Musk and how the Department of Government Efficiency may impact local governments. The information requests could be forced to a floor vote, but the move by House Republicans prevents such action.
And taking a look at the economy, things are on the rise. The S&P rose at 6% at market close yesterday, marking 6 straight days of rising stocks. The Dow Jones gained 0.7%, while the Nasdaq gained 0.5% as well. All in all, the S&P hit 5,560.83, Dow Jones reached 40,527.62, and the Nasdaq made its way to 17,461.32. But we've got some big gains for other companies, including Honeywell International, which gained 5.4%, which is a huge increase in their upper forecast for profit next year. Sherwin-Williams also rose to 4.8% as the company expects a better than expected profit. Now, the stock market seemed to be up on the ups, but there's still some concerns where the economy is headed. American confidence is lowering in the economy, and it's been the lowest since pre-pandemic levels. The confidence is now going down as many Americans. It fell 7.9%, and it's the lowest since 2020. In addition, 1/3 of consumers are expecting lower hiring rates in the future. Expectations for income, business conditions, and job market are closing down the lowest in 12 years.
Yep.
Thank you for joining us here on Live on the Update.
Yep, we are here on Wednesdays, and thank you for tuning in.